Is using Zoom to record your presentation a good idea? In this tutorial, you will see how using Zoom to record your PowerPoint presentation can be made easier with these essential tips. I'm Simon, and this is Computer Tutoring. Great, so before we continue, I just want to take a moment to let you know about our live online training courses. In fact, we use Zoom for all of our online training courses where possible. So we're extremely contactable, so check out our website. And also, if you're an Instagram or a Twitterer, then please give us a like, say hello to us on there. It'd be great to hear from you. So what's this tutorial about? Well, it's about how to use Zoom to record a presentation. And we're going to talk about the reasons for recording. We're also going to talk about preparation and what type of preparation we can do. We'll also look at recording a regular PowerPoint presentation. We'll also look at how to record a presentation with using video on Zoom. We'll also show you how to overcome some common problems when recording a presentation on Zoom, and we'll look at that particularly at the end, but we'll see some as we're going through. We'll also see how you can record and share your PowerPoint presentation as a virtual background. So let's get started. Now, what are the reasons for recording a presentation on Zoom? Well, say you had a PowerPoint presentation and you wanted to deliver, and you were a little bit nervous about giving it live. I mean, there's so much to go wrong. So maybe if you could prepare it beforehand, then it would help you just polish it up. That's one of the reasons. The second might be legitimately you cannot be present to give that presentation. It could be maybe that your internet connection isn't the greatest, so you think, well, just in case my internet goes down, I will pre-record my presentation so I can give it to somebody else who can be the host or whoever, and they can share their screen and show the video of my presentation. Or maybe I'd want to record my presentation for upload to social media like YouTube or Vimeo or whatever platform, or just to upload to your company intranet or to a SharePoint site, and in that way people can view your presentation at any time. And finally, maybe you want to record your presentation while you're giving it live. And in that way, should anyone not be able to join you for the meeting, they can view the presentation afterwards. So these tips that you will learn within this tutorial about how to record yourself on Zoom or how to record a presentation on Zoom will really, really help you. Now, the first thing that we really need to consider is preparation. If you do not prepare, then your presentation, well, it's not going to be great, is it? So what's involved in the preparation? Well, firstly, there's the technical side of things. Now, I've got a couple of videos, one on how to look your best on Zoom, and two on how to sound your best on Zoom. I'll give you the links at the top. I'll give you the links below as well. I highly recommend that you look at these videos to make sure that you are looking and sounding your best when giving your presentation. Next, just like as if you were giving a live presentation, even when you're recording your presentation, it's good to practice. In that way you can iron out all the kinks, etc. Now, when I say about practicing your presentation, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to have every word polished and every bit sort of like post video editing would do on a TV program. It doesn't have to be like that. It's you, it's yourself. So just practice it and be natural. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to relax so people can see that it's you. Otherwise, if people look at you and they just think, well, that looks a bit weird, you know, I know Simon, he's quite a chilled out character. I'd like to think most people feel I'm that way. But during that presentation, he was sort of stiff and starchy. And maybe it was because I had memorized every word and everything that I was saying was written down in a script. It would sound like a robot. No matter how much you practice, if you write down everything, that is really, you'll be on a destination to a poor presentation. And that brings us to the next aspect of it. what do you write down? Now, many people say, you know, when I'm giving a presentation, I need to write down every word. I cannot emphasize enough. Please, please, please don't do that. Don't do that. It will not be good for your presentation. You will be somebody, you're pretending to be somebody you're not. You don't write down every word in your, when you're having an everyday conversation or at work or when you're talking to somebody. So don't do it when you're giving a presentation. Now, that's not to say that you need to write down, you don't need to write down what is known as keywords. So I've got a screen on my left-hand side here. So I write down the important points. So I've got down to literally writing keywords, and every now and then you can have a quick glance at the screen. Some people have a note, maybe they'll have an iPad or whatever, and they'll have a quick look down at their notes. And in that way, then just keep on subject. So don't write down every word, just keywords, and just be natural. So what about the technical aspect? Now, if you're following along with this tutorial, you'll need to remember 3 keyboard shortcuts. I really encourage you to do that. So that's the Alt key. So it is Alt and R to start recording, Alt and P to pause the recording, and also Alt and S to share, to start and stop sharing your screen. So Alt R, Alt P, Alt S. I'll put that on the screen as well so you can see. Now, when you're using these shortcuts, it will help to keep you relaxed. It would also help to give a polished presentation. So you're not looking around the screen, you know, following your mouse when you're looking for the stop button or looking for the start recording button. Now, there is a problem inherent with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you that problem. Okay, so let's do that, shall we? So I'm in my computer here. Let's start a new meeting. Okay, now what often happens is I'm unmuted. So if I look down here, I can see that, I think I'll look at my webcam here. So I can look down here and I can see that I'm unmuted. So everybody's hearing every word I say. So I want to mute myself. Now I can click on the button here. It's not a problem, and I'm muted. And then I can click on the button again and I'm unmuted. But what people like to do sometimes is use the keyboard shortcut Alt and A. But you notice what's happening when I press Alt and A? I get this bling sound, and everybody can hear that. Now that will come across in your Zoom, in your recording and in your PowerPoint presentation as well. You don't want that to happen. The same happens when you're starting a recording in Zoom. So if I went Alt and R, I get a bling, and I want to pause the recording. Yeah, and Alt and P, and Alt and R to stop the recording. Yeah, it's not a good sound. So part of your preparation is before you actually get used to the shortcut keys and start using them, set them up as global keyboard shortcuts. And in that way, you won't hear the sound of them. And plus, you can use them anywhere. So let's just show what I mean by that. If I go down to this drop-down menu here and go to Video Settings, and then what I'm going to do is go to Keyboard Shortcuts just down here on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to go, and you can see here there's an option that says Enable Keyboard Shortcuts, and there's a lot of big list of items there. So let's go down, and I'll just suggest a couple that we can click along the way. So if I go down, there's one here that's Alt and A. So mute and unmute my audio. So that's a good one to do. So let's have a look. Start stop video is a good one. You could start and stop your camera with Alt and V without going bling. Start and stop video screen sharing, which was going to be the S one. Alt and S. Alt and R for start, stop, local recording. And there's one more, yeah, the pause, resume recording, Alt and P. So there we go. So make sure all these ones are ticked, especially the screen sharing, the recording, and the pause recording option. And then if we click on the cross at the top, now let's give that one a go. So if I'm recording a meeting, I can do Alt R, and I'm recording. No bling sound, and I can stop it as well. No bling sound. I want to mute myself. No bling. Unmute myself. Perfection. And in that way, now you can use your shortcut keys to start the recording, stop the recording, pause the recording, and also share your screen. Now, there are other problems that we'll be addressing. One of them is when you have those horrible black boxes on the screen when you're sharing and recording your screen. That's terrible. And another one I've noticed is some people have been asking on YouTube, why is it that when I record something, that my video, the video of myself, is placed to the right of the shared screen. Why is that the case? Well, we're going to look at that and how to sort that problem. So watch out at the end and we'll see how we can solve that problem. Okay, now I am in the Zoom window and I'm going to look at my web camera from now on in and to communicate and look at you. I'm sure that you all don't mind. We're going to record a PowerPoint presentation on Zoom. And this will also be used for if you want to share a PowerPoint presentation on Zoom, with some tips there. So you can see in the background, I've got a presentation, which is basically our initial slideshow about the topics that are covered when we do our Zoom live online training class. So you can have an idea of that. Now we want to set it up beforehand so we're ready to go. So what do I mean by that? Well, the best idea is click on this button here so we can start our PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to click on that to start the PowerPoint presentation from the beginning. And then that's the PowerPoint presentation there on the beginning, okay? So that's ready to go. What I'm wanting to do now is I'm wanting to share my screen. Incidentally, if you're wanting to know how comes my Zoom window here is at the top, is because I've right-clicked on it and I've chosen Keep on Top. So I can just maintain eye contact with you and you can still put a face to the voice. So I hope that makes sense. Great. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I want to share the screen. So I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut to share the screen. But before that, I want to sort of do an introduction to my PowerPoint video. So let's do this. I'll just think of in my mind what I'm going to say. Should have done all my preparation, shouldn't I? So let's just start recording. So I'm going to start recording. Alt and R. I can see I'm recording now. So welcome to our Zoom training course. Let's have a look at what we are going to cover this morning. Great, so now I can pause the video, Alt and P, and I can see there that it says recording paused. Yeah, so recording pause. So that's great. So I'm now ready to share my screen. So I can do Alt and S to share the screen. Which screen am I going to share here? So I'm going to share this one. Here, like so. I don't need to really share the computer sound and I'm not presenting a video, so I don't need to tick any of these. So I'm just going to click on share. That's great. And now the PowerPoint window is being shared. Great. So now what I need to do is I just need to continue my presentation. Now I can do Alt and P. If you don't like the keyboard shortcuts, then if I go down to, you see I've got more here and I've got resume recording. Here I've got the Alt P and the Alt R so I can see stop and pause recording. But really try and get familiar with the shortcuts. It allows you to maintain that eye contact with the camera. Great, excellent. So I'm going to do Alt and P. So I can now see here, okay, that I am recording. You can see here if I just there by that, it shows that I'm recording and I'm recording my PowerPoint presentation and now I can go through it. So welcome to the Zoom beginners training course. I can just use the mouse just to click and go through the agenda, and using this way it uses the animations and everything that you get with the PowerPoint presentation. So first thing we're going to do is scheduling a meeting and learn how to do that. Also about meeting options, inviting attendees, and you would go through your presentation. When you've finished your presentation, you don't want to muck around and look a bit amateurish trying to fumble around and get back to Zoom. So what can you do? You can pause it. So if you're touch typers, get your index keys up, drag it to your left thumb to the Alt key and then just tap P to pause. Brilliant. So it's paused the video now. Okay. And now I can come out of my PowerPoint presentation. So if I just come out of it, I'm back here. I should have stopped the screen sharing. I didn't stop the screen sharing, and so it's automatically done that for me. But the most important thing is that the recording is still paused. So I can just compose myself. Okay, and then let's just start Alt and P to start again. There we have it. That's what we're going to cover in this morning's session of our Zoom training class. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's have a look and let's get started. And now I'm going to finish my recording. So I'm just going to do Alt and that's great. So what happens is if you notice at the top, you can see there that it says the recorded file will be converted to MP4 rather. So afterwards it will be converted. We'll talk about that. That can be another issue as well as to where your recordings go. So we can have a look at that at the end of this tutorial. Okay, so I've just recorded that last tutorial, so let's have a look at it. So at the moment our meeting is running, so I need to end the meeting so that I can see this tutorial. So I'm just click on end meeting here and end meeting for all. Then the box will come up asking me, let me know it's going to convert the meeting recording. Let me just drag that over here, and here we go. I've got the conversion here. So I've got 3 actual recordings here that I've done. I think this is the last one, is the one that I'm interested in. So if I just double click to fire that one up. I can see I'm recording now. So welcome to our Zoom training course. Let's have a look at what we are going to cover this morning. And I'm recording my PowerPoint presentation, and now I can go through it. So welcome to the Zoom beginners training course. I can just use the mouse just to click and go through the agenda. And there we have it, recording just a normal PowerPoint presentation in Zoom. So now we're going to go and look at maybe how to record your PowerPoint presentation if you also have a video link. What do you do then? Let's have a look. Okay, so now you need to share a video when you're recording a presentation on Zoom. So I must admit that this can be a little difficult. You might come across different issues and problems here. Let's give it a go. And I will say that I won't be able to show you every step because of the screen recorder software I'm using to actually record this video. They seem to interfere with each other a bit, and I haven't really worked out the issue just yet, but I can take you through the steps. This is how you do it. So I'm ready to go. I'm just going to do my Alt and so I'm going to prove the recording works basically. I'm going to do Alt and R to start recording. All right, let's have a look at a video. So I can Alt P, that's paused it. I then can Alt S to share my screen, and then I'm going to go to this video presentation here. You want to make sure that these are both ticked, okay? So the share computer sound also, and the optimize screen for video sharing is ticked, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record that to share that. So I'm going to click on share, and it comes up here. I get this problem, my screen sharing is paused. You won't get that. It will just start recording and you will just play the video. How to sound your best on Zoom. This tutorial will take you from sounding like this. Brilliant. Okay, so just the extra thing I want to show you here is this little, they call them the floating meeting controls. They can get in the way of your video. So what I would do is I would hide them so you don't see anything when you're showing your video optimized for Zoom. I hope that does make sense to you there. Okay, so let me just record this properly so you can see how this works. Okay, so I've just recorded the presentation. So let's have a quick look and see how that looks. I've got a copy, where is it over here? Is it over here? There we go. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at a video presentation to show you how you can sound your best on Zoom. How to sound your best on Zoom.
Oh, come on, get started already.
There we have it. So with that recording, with the video, I optimized the video, the sharing for the video. So if I go to share, you need to make sure that these two here are ticked. Okay, if you're sharing the video, in that way your video won't be jerky, and of course people will be able to hear the sound. So hope that helps a little bit. All right, so as promised, did you know that you can use your PowerPoint presentation as a virtual background when you're recording a presentation on Zoom? What do I mean? Well, this is how you do it. So let's go to Alt S to share. Let's have a look here. And this time I'm going to go to advanced here at the top. So just make sure you've got advanced checked here at the top. Then you see here, it's got a beta here. So you might need to make sure you upgrade your Zoom. If you don't see this here, upgrade your Zoom. So I'm going to click on that. That's great. I'm going to click on share. Now I need to find my presentation. So this one here is going to be the Zoom Beginners online training there. So I'm going to click on open, and eventually it will show you the PowerPoint. Here we go. So there's PowerPoint, and I can see myself in the end there. I do have a ceiling. If I put my head up too much, you can see it cuts off my video a little bit there. So, you know, I've got to be careful. I've got to still stay within my camera, but it looks really good, doesn't it? Let me just make that a little larger as well so you can see. I'll just show you some of the options. I can go through the slides like so. Okay. And then I can also have a couple of options, one of which was it says split video from PowerPoint. What it means, it takes my video off here and it ends up putting it in the top right hand corner, which doesn't look as cool, I must say. So I'm going to go back to and merge video and PowerPoint. But there's another nice option here which says resize my video, so I can just make myself nice and big. Welcome to the presentation. How are you doing? Let's get started. I'm just going to minimize myself down into the bottom right hand corner just here like so. And then I can go through my presentation. Let's start recording that, see how that works. So Alt and R to start recording. You can see it's got recording top left hand corner. In fact, I could do that bigger, Hi, welcome to this Zoom training session. So I'm just going to make myself a little bit smaller there. So the first part of it is we're going to look at scheduling a meeting. The links do not work at all. So the links do not work. This only allows you to do this within PowerPoint. And then when I'm finished, I can then resize my video. So I can do Alt and P to pause. That's great. And then I can now sort of come out and stop the sharing. Alt S to stop sharing there. That's good. I've just got a little hangover there. Brilliant. Excellent. I think I'll stop the recording. That's great. Let's have a look and see how that actually looks as a video. So let me just end the meeting here. And it's just going to do a conversion. So once this is converted, we'll have a quick look and see how this looks. So here it is. Let's just double click. Right. Welcome to our Zoom beginners training session. This little presentation is to let you know what we're going to cover throughout this morning. So, in fact, I could do that bigger, Hi, welcome to this Zoom training session. So just a couple of things just to really note with this one. With the virtual backgrounds, if you're not able to allow those virtual backgrounds, so if you go, for instance, to stop video or this little pop-up list here and go to choose virtual background, if you can't choose any of these backgrounds here, it may be that you need to upgrade your laptop. That's the first thing. The other thing as well is you'll need to spotlight your video. I can't show you spotlighting in this one because I've got nobody else on this training session, but you probably want to spotlight your own video. In fact, there is a little option. If I go down and go to the video settings, there is an option just here. I don't know if you can see. It says spotlight my video when I speak. So if you are giving your presentation, you could probably check that one so that when you're speaking, your video is spotlighted. If you're wondering what spotlighted means, it basically means that when you are speaking, you're taking up the big screen. So for instance, if you're in speaker's view and you're speaking, everybody will see you. The focus will be on you. And you want that to happen if you're giving a PowerPoint presentation. So have that ticked. I'm not going to tick that for the time being, but I would have that ticked if I was doing that PowerPoint presentation there. All right, so you could see from the last tutorial or the last video that you get these things, when we're recording the video and we're optimizing for video and sharing the screen, any flotation or panels, they call them the flotation, but let me just show you what I mean with that one here. If I just share that here. So floating meeting controls, you see here, the floating meeting controls, they can get in the way. So what happens basically, and it happens when you're sharing the screen as well, when you share your screen and you optimize it for the video content, these panels here, so all of this sort of stuff just here, and if I go down here and all this down here, they just appear as big black boxes, as you can see in the screen there. It just looks absolutely rubbish. So how do you sort that? Well, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can either drag this off the screen if you happen to have two screens, which would be the most recommended way that I would recommend there. So you can drag that off the screen. Alternatively, you can go down to and hide the floating meeting controls just here. If you're going to do that. So what I would recommend is there's a shortcut for that, Control Alt Shift and H. So if you were here and you want to do Control Alt Shift and H would hide the meeting controls. Okay, ready to go here, and then Control Alt Shift and H to bring it back, or you can press Escape as well. So let's say I was recording the meeting. I'd go Control Alt Shift and H. That would hide it. Just make sure that little menu there disappears. And now I can do, brilliant, now I can do Alt I to record the meeting. You have to know and have confidence that your meeting is being recorded. Now you can understand why I really encourage you to get familiar with the shortcut keys. You then do your meeting or whatever you decide to to do there, then you would pause the recording, Alt and P, Control Shift Alt and H to bring back those meeting controls. Yeah, that's great. And then I can stop the sharing if I wanted to. I can still see the recordings paused as well. So you might have to muck around with that a little bit to get comfortable. But as I said, try and use those shortcut keys. Another issue, something that can happen is if when you're recording your video, it appears to the right, as you can see here, of your shared screen or your shared area. How do you stop that? Well, first thing, just check your version of Zoom. I'm just going to go over, where's my Zoom here? Let me just bring up there we go here. I'm just going to go to my settings down here. Oops, sorry, my actual account here, and go to Help and About Zoom. So you can see here, this is the version that I'm using. Okay, I just want to show you that, just so if you're asking, well, hang on, is your version different to mine? I don't know if it's the same. So you can see the version that I'm using there, 5.2.1. So if you want to check there, 5.2.1 is the version that I am using of Zoom. Great, so that being the case, I can go to my settings, or I can access settings by many different ways. When I go to recording here and I'm recording, there's a little option here that says place video next to the shared screen in the recording. So if I untick that, then when I record a video, it makes sure that the video is actually on the screen, in the same screen. Well, let me just show you what I mean by that. Okay, so I'm going to just do Alt and R to record. That's great. Then I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to do screen 1. That'll do. There we go. I've got screen 1 here. I can see that on the right hand side because I unticked the place it next to. Place my video next to the shared item, so I can see that there. I can stop the sharing, which is great. Stop the recording, Alt R. That's great. Now let's end the meeting here, and then that should be a quick conversion. Great. Back in here, and there we got a new Zoom session. And let's have a look and see how this looks record. Like. That's great. Then I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to do screen 1. That'll do. There we go. I've got screen 1 here. I can see that on the right hand side because I unticked the place it next to. Place my video next to the shared item, so I can see that there. I can stop the sharing, which is great. Stop the record. There we go. So there we go. I hope that makes sense there. So in a nutshell, basically within my settings under recording here, just untick place video next to the shared screen in the recording. And in that way, your face will be, or your video will be on top of the shared items there. And then, yeah, you should have your video on top of your shared screen, look a little bit more professional. Okay, just nearly at the end there, the last sort of common problem or the common issue is, where does Zoom save my recordings? Can I change where Zoom saves my recordings? Well, there's a few options with this. It's quite nice. If we go to our settings, so I'm just going to go to the video settings just here. When you go to recording just here, just at the top, you can decide where you want to save it. So for instance, if I click on change, I can decide where I want all my Zoom tutorials to be saved. So I'm in Documents and Zoom, which is great. I'm happy with that. Alternatively, I can have this checkbox here ticked. So you can see if I tick that checkbox, every time I finish a recording session, I will get an option to change where my Zoom recording goes. So it might be an option for you. So let me just drag that one up here. So I'm not going to tick that there. There are other options here available. This is quite a handy one if you're just using other video editors. You might want to tick that so it optimizes for a third-party video editor. So there's a few ones there, but we're not going to go into this too much just here. I hope that really helped. So there we have it. Is using Zoom to record your presentation a good idea? Well, I would say yes, it is. Especially if you're the type of person who doesn't want to dive into the complex world of post-production video editing. What do you use to record a PowerPoint presentation? I'd love to hear on the comments below. Do you use PowerPoint itself? I've used that in the past, and I found that maybe using Zoom is a little better. Recording a PowerPoint presentation in Zoom does require a little practice. It does require that you are a little familiar with certain shortcut keys, but I feel that it is worth the effort. If you've got anything out of this, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any future tutorials. And if you've got anything out of this tutorial, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, it'd be really appreciated. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys.